Hey, females! So welcome back to another episode of Fail Film Friday. In today's case, we'll be discussing a case out of Vienna, Austria. This one's actually a little bit weird because she is known as the ice cream killer, as you can tell from the title. Some of you may have heard this story, some of you may have not. I surprisingly only have like 3 sources for the story, but that's basically just the story. Like, there are multiple sites and plenty of videos on this case on YouTube. However, they pretty much say the same thing. And so, yeah, let's just go and get started.
You had your fun, bet you're sorry now. You dressed me in white to just lay me down. I would've stayed till death took me out, but then you fucked up and gave me the gun. So I'll give you one more shot.
So of course, like always, we gotta start with our killer, Estibaliz Carranza. That's not her full legal government name. However, that is what the parts I'm able to pronounce. I will put her full legal name right here to where you can read it for yourself. However, for the rest of the story, for the rest of this short story, I guess, we will be calling her Esti. So, Esti was born on September 6, 1978, in Mexico City, in Mexico. Ever since childhood, she had wanted to be a mother, maybe 10 years old. And her mother had told her to, like, get a good education and a career first before you even think about motherhood, because, you know, understandable. It's not easy being a mother. Her father was actually said to have had a major raid on them, like, in their house by the Mexican government from his opinions that he had. Because apparently the Mexican government didn't like the opinions that he had because he worked for, like, a newspaper and stuff. And so this pretty much scarred Esti for life, as you can imagine, because she was a child when this happened. Because of this, they would eventually move to Barcelona because they realized maybe we shouldn't be staying in Mexico City. And so Barcelona was, if you know anything, because apparently I didn't, Barcelona apparently is more expensive than Mexico City. And so basically, like, Esti's father basically had to work like a dog just to even get them to barely scrape by. That makes sense. And so Esti would have having her boyfriend at 17, who she planned her life with, but he broke up with her after the feelings being unrequited despite being together for 5 years. So pretty much, she was with him her entire time at, like, this university she went to, and despite being together for 5 years, he did not want to settle down with her because he didn't consider the relationship serious. So I don't know what they were doing in that 5 years. I think he just wanted a little action, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's over. In 2005, she would move to Vienna, Austria, which is where our story takes place, where she would start an ice cream shop. By then, she was already married to her first husband, Holger Holtz, who she had only known for 2 to 3 weeks after they met. So she moved to Vienna with her husband, Holger, to start this ice cream shop, because apparently that was his idea. Holger was into Krishna, which apparently is part of Hinduism, which, not gonna lie, I didn't really know, like, what Hinduism, like, what really they were into. And so from what information I can find, apparently they held weekly meetings, and human desires weren't as much as a priority. And so because of this, he wasn't in a rush for a baby, despite Esti making every effort she could to have a child, because remember, she's been wanting to have this child since, like, childhood. Holger had apparently told her, like, when they started dating, how about we wait until, like, marriage before we do the deed? Because in the group that he was in, like, sex before marriage wasn't really, like, a big, I wouldn't say it was a no-no, but it was more like, I don't believe in having sex before marriage. That's perfectly fine. There's some people out there like that, and that's fine. And so she thought that was romantic, because, like, well, okay, cool. And sex is really only for, like, procreation, which, again, Esti wanted this baby, so we Gucci, we on the same page. In Esti's mind, and so, Holger was unfortunately verbally abusive, and he was taking the money. Remember, they had this ice cream shop, so even though Esti was pretty much doing all the work, he was taking all the money. And so he even took her papers, so I guess, like, her papers to, like, leave the country if she needed to, so she couldn't return back to Spain, because apparently that's where her family was. While the marriage is going through turmoil, she was starting an affair with refrigerator repairman Manfred Hinterberger, who had convinced her to leave Holger to marry him to start a family with him. She, of course, starts a divorce process when Manfred would leave her for another woman, basically skip town, found another woman. Holger and her are still living under the same roof, because he refused to leave. Holger apparently would say that she will never become a mother, and apparently that made her snap. And so on April 27, 2008, she grabbed his gun, went behind him while he was on the computer in their little apartment, whatever, and shot him twice in the back of the head. She shoots him again with the gun touching his head for good measure, to make sure he actually is dead. She then tries to light him on fire, which fails and causes an odor. When asked by the neighbors what the odor was, said she was cooking fish. It apparently got so bad to the point that the fire department was actually called, and apparently that was convincing enough for them to just leave and not investigate into it. She apparently was then called into her store for what reason, I don't know. Apparently something happened, and so she thought at this point the police were going to find the body. She was going to be caught, surely. She came back, the body's still there. So she decides to dismember the body with a chainsaw, putting his body parts into bags and putting said bags into ice cream containers. She would then take him to her shop where someone had even helped her take her in, obviously not even knowing what's in the containers, that poor person. She would add just cement to the body to stop decomposing, and it seemed to work for a while, but then of course the odor would still come up every once in a while. Because remember, this is a decomposing human body. So of course there's going to be odor. She would then start looking for a new man, but Manfred would come back into town begging for a second chance. She gave him a second chance, so they spent like a year together with no baby. He was suspected of being unfaithful. She found multiple dating sites, and apparently the woman he described looked nothing like Esti, despite her doing everything she practically wanted, including even getting plastic surgery. So on November 21st, 2010, she shoots him 4 times in the head while he is asleep, snoring. She then dismembers his body, just like she did with Holger. Same thing with his remains, ice cream tubs, cement. This time she was prepared because apparently she took lessons at the gun range and cement mixing classes, which apparently is a thing. She then goes to get a manicure because, she broke her nails after doing all this work. And so then one day in June of 2011, apparently sources differ between the 6th and the 11th. So I'm just saying June 2011. A plumbing company would come into her storage room, ask complaints about a foul odor, and apparently the hair store next door, a water pipe burst, and so in order to fix it, they had to go into the lower part of her store, which is where she held the bodies in. And so they're cracking all these containers trying to find out where the smells came from, and they find a human leg. And so obviously, as you can imagine, that's pretty scarring to a person. Police are obviously called, but at this point, Esti had already fled. She had originally bought a flight to Paris, but left out of fear of getting caught, which she would have ended up being right because apparently they were literally waiting for her at the gate. So even if she had tried to board a plane, she wouldn't have, unless she had a fake passport or something. She then took a cab to Italy. 2 days later, she would be found in bed with someone who works like a street cleaner, I guess, named Roland. Yes. A test would be done on her, and it was revealed that she was pregnant. The father was Roland. She apparently started dating Roland a month after killing Manfred. And she claims that Roland was basically the best man that she could ever ask for. And so then after giving birth, her son would go live with her parents in Spain. Why Roland couldn't take custody of the child, I don't know. But the child was a boy and was named after Roland. She would still marry Roland while in prison. She claimed that she would have never killed anyone had she had met Roland earlier because he wasn't like the other 2 men. They would later divorce in 2015, according to sources. Back in 2012, she would get plead guilty to 2 counts of murder. She got life in a maximum security psychiatric prison. She would write a book about her life with all the profits going to her son. So at least there's something good out of it. The book would claim that when she was a teenager, she was raped by a man who had invited her to a party. And this is the first time that it was ever reported because she had never told anyone else. So I don't want to call her a liar because that is a pretty traumatic thing to want to go through. But it's kind of weird how you just randomly bring it up now. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that was the case basically of the ice cream killer. That's all the information I can find at this time. And so, yeah, that's it for this week's episodes of Faith on a Friday. And I will see you all for the next 3. Bye.